And good morning, everyone. Today is the 3rd of July, 2026, and we wish America a happy 250. And we'll be taking a look at the weekend weather for the 4th of July, particularly, as well as a look at the weather ahead. So let's get started. Okay, so taking a look at the weather map as things stand as we wrap up the week here. High pressure here, non-tropical low pressure off the east coast here, and high pressure kind of rotates like that. But what's been happening is between these two systems, we're kind of in this light wind flow. So we're starting now to see kind of an onshore flow, and that's been keeping the showers and everything blowing in off the ocean and pushing them inland in the afternoon. That's pretty much going to be the same thing's going to happen today. However, those rain chances will increase when we get to tomorrow, significantly so. We'll take a close look at that in just a moment. So the little disturbance slides off to our south. High pressure stays in control generally, but the wind flow starts to now begin to change. And then the high pressure retreating off into the Gulf. We can see the southwest flow setting up, and that's going to draw more moisture up over the area. Let's take a look at the tropics real quick. There's no concerns in the tropics right now through the next 7 days. And going further into the future, taking us into the middle of July, we don't see any significant tropical cyclone features trying to form anywhere in the Atlantic basin. So that's some good news there as far as the hurricane season is concerned. Now, let's take a look at what's going to be our main weather concerns as we go through the next several days. Daily afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. For today, those storms will be focusing inland. So if you're going to be going down to First Friday, in Flagler Beach, it looks like the weather will be okay for that. It looks like they will be able to get through without any. There's always the risk of the odd shower coming off the ocean, but it looks like you should stay dry for that. But however, when we get into Saturday and Sunday, those shower and storm chances will be more widespread. There is a high risk of dangerous rip currents at our local beaches, and that may persist into the weekend. So just be aware of that. It'll be quite warm with heat indexes 105 to 108 degrees. And of course, river flooding inland is an issue for us. Today, this is where the thunderstorms will be. The big ones, they'll be off to the west. So, again, no concerns today really of any big storms, but that will shift as we get into the latter part of getting into the weekend. Now, here's our high risk of rip currents right along here. Rip currents are very dangerous if you do not know how to get out of one. If you're not familiar with the ocean currents or are not familiar with how all that works, I'd recommend not going into the ocean unless you really know how to deal with rip currents and how to get out of them. So, heat index numbers, we'll take a closer look at this in just a little bit, but locally we could be up to 105 degrees next couple days here. So, just be aware of that. And again, we just talked about the tropics, no concerns there with what's going on in the tropical Atlantic at this point in time. So, let's talk about temperatures right now. We'll start with this. So high temperatures today, right about 92 degrees, largely 90 to 92, mid 80s at the beaches. Tomorrow, the big day, look for a high temperature around 88 at the beach. So again, if you're going to the parade in Flagler Beach, do not underestimate the heat. Even though these numbers don't look that bad, the heat index is going to be quite high. So again, do not, I say again for the third time, do not underestimate the heat. Stay hydrated. Wear sun protection. Do everything you can. Last year, we had a few people pass out from the heat, so make sure that you are well prepared for that heat. And hopefully, with the east wind, it won't be that bad. Sunday, we stay up again 90 to 95, 90 to 95, and pretty much that same song the whole week. Maybe a little bit warmer on Wednesday, and then and staying elevated into Thursday. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with our heat indexes now, max heat index. So today we're looking at heat index values approaching 105 degrees. That's for today. Tomorrow, and again, this is why I'm telling folks, if you're going to be out going to the parade, even though it's at 9 o'clock in the morning, that heat index, 100 degrees, that will take a toll on your body unless you are prepared for it. So if you're going out to the parades, hydrate, bring water with you, bring as much water as you can carry. because it will catch up with you if you're not prepared and if you are not hydrated. It will catch up with you rapidly. If you're going to be doing anything outside tomorrow, make sure that you are well prepared for the heat and staying properly hydrated or has a place to cool down. Those heat index numbers don't relieve as we go into Sunday. Now we're flirting with 107 degrees in the inland locations. That's approaching heat advisory criteria. And we do that on Monday. And then we get into heat advisory criteria if this forecast holds on Tuesday, where heat index numbers up to 110 degrees will be possible. And then even hotter on Wednesday, this is approaching heat warning criteria. We'll have to watch and be careful and see. Again, make sure you're staying hydrated if you're going to be outside. And then those numbers stay pretty high right into Thursday. Now look at low temperatures. It's pretty much going to be universal. So lows in the 70s pretty much this entire week. No significant changes there. We don't see any big changes in our low temperatures. All right, so here's the big one, precipitation. What are those rain chances? Let's talk about that. And let's get this going here. So for today, looks like our rain chances, just a minimal chance, about a 20% chance across the county, maybe about 40% chance inland. That's where the best of any showers and storms will be, is in the western part of the county. Tonight, look for those rain chances to retreat inland. So again, if you're going to First Friday, looks real good for that right now. Don't see any threats to First Friday at the moment. You can't rule out the odd rogue shower blowing in, but right now, we just don't see that happening. Now, as we get into tomorrow, here's where things start to get interesting. Looking at rain chances now, up to about 50%, a little bit less chances at the beaches, 40% at the beaches, better chances inland. Fireworks go off at the airport tomorrow evening, so we'll have to see how that shakes out. There's a possibility that thunderstorms could interfere with that, so we'll have to see how it shakes out. It's also possible the thunderstorms might come and go in the afternoon and be all out of the way by the time we get to this event. So just be aware of that and stay informed on the weather. Tomorrow night, look for those rain chances to end. Again, fireworks probably going to be okay, but again, just keep an eye on things. We still have that minimal rain chance that goes into the evening. Sunday, about a 70% chance of showers and storms countywide. Again, it doesn't mean that it's going to rain the entire day. It just means that everywhere has a good chance of seeing at least one shower or a thunderstorm during the course of the day. And then we keep a very low chance overnight, Sunday night, and then Monday, still pretty high chances of rain, but not as, about 40 to 50%. Matter of fact, that's come down from the last forecast I saw. And then we're looking at rain chances about 10% Monday night. And then Tuesday, about a 35% chance. Then Wednesday, about a 30% chance, but that heat engine will be on in full force by the time we get to Wednesday, as we saw earlier. And look for generally minimal to maybe seasonable rain chances the rest of the week, where you do have the chance of the odd shower or thunderstorm, but not expected to be widespread. How much rain are we going to get? Let's take a look at let's take a look at that rainfall. If I can get it to come up here. Sorry. Yeah, come on. Let's try this one more time here. So 7-day total rainfalls, generally a half inch to an inch countywide is what we're looking at. We're not looking at any big deal here. Of course, thunderstorms can produce locally heavier amounts. So let's go further. Let's take a look into the future. So how are we looking here when we go into the end of the week and into next? We're looking at temperatures to be averaging above normal. That's the way things look right now. And we're looking at precipitation chances to be above normal as well as we go into the end of the week. And then as we go into the middle part of July here, again, looking at temperatures to be averaging above normal, about a 65% chance of that. Precipitation chances also above normal. And just to kind of go back on something else here, let's just go back to the Climate Prediction Center's main. That's not what I was looking for. Stand by. And then let's go to our hazard analysis here. So there is a chance of there's a slight risk of excessive rainfall in the southeast here. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. So looking around elsewhere in the United States, excessive heat warnings are in force from Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, western Pennsylvania, most of Pennsylvania actually. A good chunk of New England under that extreme heat warnings. So, it's hotter up there than it is down here. Also, take note, flood watches in Iowa from a weather system moving through there. Further out west, overall settled conditions, but they have some bulletins out here due to the wildfires and the smoke from those wildfires being generated. There's some big wildfires around Flagstaff, a couple big ones in Colorado, and out into the northwest. So that's going to wrap things up. Again, look at our satellite here. You can see the puffy clouds starting up. You can see that persistent band of showers between St. Augustine and Jacksonville. That's been a feature since about sunrise this morning. Elsewhere, looking really good across the entire state, but expect those showers and storms to pop up. And again, trend for them to go towards the west today. But as we get into the weekend, and you'll see the flow start to turn more out of the south and southwest. Everybody enjoy your 4th. Please stay hydrated out there. Stay safe. Enjoy. Remember, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. That's your best weapon against the heat. Don't forget the sun protection as well. Everybody have a great 4th. Bye-bye now.